Hey guys, Sandy here, and today I am using my homemade kit to scrapbook this photo of my husband and my daughter and I in the car. Now, I don't know what the heck we were doing, but we snapped a selfie, so there it is. Let's see what I can do. This layout didn't come together exactly as I wanted it to, and I've actually cut out a whole bunch of that process. Don't worry, I put the process in another page video. Basically, I did a whole bunch of work and didn't even use it on the layout. So there is that. Sometimes what you have in your head doesn't really turn out to what comes off on the page. And it was so much so that I was like, I gotta go a completely different direction. Most of the time, if I'm doing that, I just work something through it and I'm just like, it's good enough. The page is done. I'm happy. But this one just was a process. So I'm using some Nouveau embellishment mousse and I'm putting it through this stencil, and I am using a hotel key card to put it through. That is because I have not purchased a decent palette knife yet. I know that I've had lots of suggestions, so I really appreciate those. I know I've also said before that I really wanted to feel one in my hands, but at this point, who knows when the craft stores are going to open up again for inside the store shopping. So I might just have to order myself a nice new sturdy palette knife. So maybe after I finish doing these voiceovers, I'm going to do a little online shopping. We will see. Now I am using a Brutus Monroe Media Matte. This thing is great. And then you can see the little roses that I had painted because I thought that they were similar to this rose paper right here. Two completely different companies. The roses were a punch out from Altenew and the paper is from Close to My Heart. I know I've been using a lot of Close to My Heart paper lately, and that's because I really like the papers lately. Like, I like the collections that they're putting out. The papers are a little bit thinner than the other manufacturers, and I'm okay with that because they're not like the super thin from back in 1996 scrapbooking papers. But I mean, in all actuality, I have a little bin that sits beside me at my feet that I have papers and stuff in it. I have my Cocoa Vanilla Legendary Collection sitting next to me that I haven't opened yet. I mean, I opened it, but I haven't cracked into it yet. And that's where the Close to My Heart papers live. The rest of the papers are like 2 feet away in paper organizers, and sometimes I just can't be bothered to move the 2 feet over to grab the paper, and I just grab what's at my feet. It really is all about convenience for me. And if I can see things and if I can look up and see something, I will grab it. And that is why I have open storage in the scrapbooking room. I've had closed storage before and I just never opened the doors. Like, it just didn't work for me. So there is that. So as you can see, the embellishment mousse through the stencil came out gorgeous. I am in love with it. I do mess around for a little bit trying to figure out exactly where I want things to go. I am doing a lot with this kit this month where I am taking the washi tape and putting it on top of cardstock just to give it some rigidity. I really like this particular washi tape. I honestly don't remember who it's from. I really just don't. There are some things where I can like pull up that information like a filing cabinet in my brain, and some things just don't stick, and I just don't know who manufactured this washi tape. All I know is that I really like it. So yeah, I must have been having a serious think because instead of tapping my fingers, I was holding my own hands. That's always something. So trying to figure out what I want to do with this. Like, do I want to layer this on top? Do I want to layer it on bottom? Like, what am I doing here? Like I said, when I did not put the roses on the layout, I really struggled with it afterwards because my idea was completely gone out of my head. Like, I had this complete thought process of how it was going to look, and then when it wasn't turning out, it just kind of stumped me for a second. Now, I know that sometimes we get that kind of like crafter's block, the little scrapper's block, and you know, sometimes you have to put away the layout and work on something else, and sometimes you just have to work through it. And I think what that happens. When that happens, you just kind of, you have to figure out and kind of know yourself and know your process a little bit. Like, is this something I can push through and make happen, or is this something where I need a moment to think about it? Most of the time, I am a push through and make it happen person. Sometimes it is a push to the side because I can't think. But most of the time, I am a push through and make it happen person. Now, I really wanted to do this with the layout where I was layering up the frames. And again, this looked better in my head than it did on the layout. So I do struggle with this a little bit. And I'm just like I'm not loving it right now. It's just not my favorite thing in the world. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, what can I do to actually make this work? Now, I do love the frame stacked like this, but with this layout and the flowers and the embellishment mousse, it just, for some reason, it just was not jiving in my head. But again, I'm still going to play with it a little bit, and then that way you guys can kind of like see my process, because I think sometimes we cut out the bits on the YouTube videos because they end up being too long, or we don't know what to say. I usually don't have that problem because I can run my mouth just about anything, but we cut out the bits where we're like, oh, what do I do here? What do I do here? And for me, like, I love seeing a full process. So the longer the video, the better. Except, you know, I like long videos when I am scrapbooking myself, and I like long videos when I'm just watching YouTube. But I do have videos that I watch when I get ready in the morning, and they need to be between like 9 and 13 minutes long because that's how long it takes me to get ready. So yeah, I like a good mix of videos. I like the long ones and the short ones. If your video is like 2 minutes or less, unless you're announcing something, I'm probably gonna be like, it's not worth it to me. Like, what do you guys feel like videos are? So I've played around with like the length of my videos, and I try not to have them longer than 20 minutes because those seem to do the worst. And then the really short ones don't do that great. I think I found a happy medium with mine. So there is that. Now, see, I keep messing around with these frames, and I keep trying to layer them up, and I'm like, maybe I just need to add a little bit more layers up here. Maybe that's all I need to do. And then maybe then the flowers will look right. And they just didn't. I mean, I'm just not happy with it whatsoever. I am really struggling with what I'm doing. I'm just like, what in the world is going on here? And they're just not fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not enjoying this. I don't think it's pretty. It's such a disconnect from what I have going on. And I think the frames are beautiful with the flowers. Like, I love the frames and the flowers together, but I don't love it on the background that I've created. And I have to say, I'm loving my background, and I love the frames and the flowers. I just don't love them together. Like, they're not mixing well for me. So I decide to put the frames and I put the flowers aside, and then I just decide, you know what, I'm going to do something else. So I pull out these flowers that I had in the kit, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, I've got this purple cardstock as my base, so I definitely need to bring in that purpley color. And then I do another one of the punch outs that says road trip, and it has a little car punched out on it. Because like I said, this was a selfie that we took in the car. Really have no idea where we were going or what we were doing that day, but we were probably just running errands. But still, you know, we're driving. It can be a road trip if we wanted to. So I'm just going to layer that up over that kind of dead space in the photo where it's just the roof of the car. And then I try to figure out which way I like the florals the best. I definitely want to make sure that I'm getting the purples in there, because obviously I have to bring in the purple that is the lowest photo, or the lowest matte, the lowest background piece. So it's just a matter of figuring out where to put the things. So I cut that die cut just so it gives me a longer piece, and I'm happy with this. Like, I'm like, yeah, I can work with this. This is happy. And then I decided to pull out the silver Fitzgerald glitter thickers. I've had these forever, and it is time for me to use them. So I'm going to add another flower down here at the bottom just to kind of like decorate where the title's going. Now I was thinking about adding more florals up here around my photo mat, but I decided I really didn't need more up there. Like there's enough floral. But what I do is change the floral that's up there, because the one I had in that upper left and then the bottom right were the same exact floral, and I wanted a little bit of difference, especially because I was using this different flower down here at the bottom. So I just wanted to make sure that there was enough of variety. Boy, I struggled saying that, variety. That there was enough of that so it wouldn't look like, oh, you have all the same florals except for this one over here. What happened? Did you run out of die cuts? Like, I don't want that to be a thought. And honestly, most people flipping through my albums, that's not going to be a thought on their head, but it is going to be a thought in my head when I'm flipping through my albums. And as I said, I scrapbook mostly for me, because I like having the family yearbooks, the family memories, to help me refresh my mind. I also enjoy making the pretty things and playing with the pretty papers. So I got to make sure that it makes sense to me in my head. So I am doing my title as Off We Go. And I just layered that little Explore tag up over the flower. And the thing with these Fitzgerald thickers, they are foam, so they do get a little wonky on you. That G still looks a little wonky. But I'm okay with it. Like, it's not crazy, so I'm not worried at all. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that stuff down now and make sure that it sticks. I'm like, how do I want to do this? I thought it would have been cute tucked under that leaf, but I wasn't feeling it. So I go ahead, add a little bit more adhesive on there. And now I know I need to do a little bit of journaling. So that will happen. Oh, that's right. I brought in this silver piece because I used the glitter silver thickers. I felt like I needed a little bit more of the silver sparkle up here in the main part of the page where the photo was. I do have the blue sparkle with that glitter washi tape, but I just needed some more silver on this page because of the glitter thickers. And then I have these little stars from High Supply. It's HAI Supply. And they look like little throwing stars. They aren't like five-point stars or even 6-point stars. They look like little throwing stars. They have 4 points on them. And I'm just dropping some liquid adhesive around where I want those little throwing stars to go. I am using my crystal katana to pull them out. Now, crystal katana has like a waxy tip to it and also a metallic kind of point on the other side. I really enjoy my crystal katana. I had used one for a while, and then everybody was using a jewel picker, so I decided that I needed to try out the jewel picker. I still love my jewel picker, but honestly, my crystal katana probably is my favorite, like, sequin and little bits applier. Now, I'm not too concerned about how these little throwing stars are laying on the page. Like, it doesn't matter which point's up. Sometimes I grab 2 of them and put them in a little glue dot. I don't really care. Like, I just want the little bit of silvery sparkle and shimmer on the page. I do use Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. It does clear dry, or dry clear. Boy, my verbs are all over the place today, guys. It does dry clear, and it's not like a super shiny clear drying, and it's almost invisible, so it works for me. So I get that down. I decide that I need to add a little bit down here at the bottom as well, because why have all the fun up on the top part of the page? You definitely need the fun on the bottom as well. So again, I'm just going to use my crystal katana and sprinkle them around. Don't worry, I do complete another layout with the frames and the flowers that I had watercolored. Now, I'm sure you guys were just like absolutely worried about those frames and flowers. That's sarcasm there, guys. but the next video will be featuring that. I think it's the next video, or maybe the one after. I don't know. I've got some things kind of planned out, and I don't remember which one is which, like which order. Now, I do use a Uniball Signo white pen here, and the pen writing shows up white, but after it sat for a while, it kind of turned like a purpley color, which is fine because the purple matches, but I guess it like sucked up the color off of the paper because it turned purpley, which is kind of weird. Anyway, that'll do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys again real soon for another video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also ring the bell if you'd like notifications for when my videos go live.